Hello, hello, hello. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming to my page, checking out my channel. So, I have a video today, and this is off my head. These are some realizations that I have come to regarding Venus and Mars through my own experiences. And I'm going to be relating some of the information that I share today to some personal experiences. So I wanted to make a video today about how Mars takes and Venus compromises. A story or a tale of the lower nature. And I entitled it The Lower Nature because Venus and Mars is how we as females and males dance with one another to gain and give. It is the push and the pull of the feminine and the masculine, in my opinion, I don't want to get too deep, okay? So let me just keep it at that. It is a dance between the feminine and the masculine. And so I wanted to entitle it that. So we all know, most of us, if you're new to astrology and you don't know, Venus is a Venusian goddess, Aphrodite. Venus is a feminine planet. Venus rules the sign of Libra and Taurus. And Mars is a Martian masculine planet and the god of war in mythology. And Mars rules the signs of Scorpio and Aries. Mars is the original ruler of Scorpio. Although in modern astrology, Pluto is considered the ruler of Scorpio, I myself consider Mars to be the ruler of Scorpio and Pluto as more of a support to the sign of Scorpio. So in terms of the dance between this masculine and feminine polarity, my Mars is in Capricorn, and I have Mars on conjunct my ascendant, and I have Venus in Scorpio. So this means that my Martian energy is within its exaltation. And exaltation means that it's in its highest expression. However, that does not mean that I don't struggle with my Mars, and I don't want to get too deep into my chart. However, I just want to let you know that in my experience with dealing with a lot of Martian energy, I have Mars conjunct my ascendant, exalted in Capricorn. I have Venus in Scorpio conjunct my MC. And this dance, and my North Node is in Aries. I'm a Libra Sun, Libra Mercury. My South Node is in Libra. And this dance between this Venusian and Martian energy within my life has been, as I become more aware of myself and develop, because we know that the sign of Capricorn, it takes time to develop. Saturn isn't mature until the age of 36, and I'm 38. So I began to have a lot of these realizations at about 36, and I'm not going to get into too much detail. However, when it comes to the Venusian and the Martian energy, my life has been an absolute example of some of the issues, the downfalls, and the pinnacles and the zenith of these two energies. So first off, I wanted to just first say that I attract Martian men, period. My most serious relationships have all been Mars and Aries, Mars and Scorpio placements, Aries suns, Capricorns. Capricorns are like stuck to me like glue. Capricorns, for the most part, if a man is attracted to me, I already know that he's either going to be a Capricorn sun, a Mars in Scorpio, a Mars in Aries, a Mars in a Capricorn, Mercury. And this is the reason why when it comes to Mars and Mars's way of taking, and I'm going to break it down to each sign. So follow me, right? So Aries is the first house rules Aries. And Aries is a fire sign, cardinal fire, one-track minded. Aries, in my opinion, I just consider Aries the kind of the Neanderthal energy. Aries is the energy that sees what it wants and goes after it full speed, just instinctually, full speed, not thought, just action, right? Focus, action, but it is quick focus. Aries, the endurance isn't long term. The endurance is quick. So I always look at Mars in the sign of Aries as Mars as is in its most immature state. Very here and now, very immature, no long-term plans, just here and now, which is necessary for it having enough energy to burst through something or to break new, to things like that. However, Aries is one-track minded. And this is what creates Aries to be successful, because when an Aries is focused and has that one-track mind, it conserves Aries' energy. Because when you lose focus and you have your attention on so many different things, you lose energy. So this is kind of what gives Aries that inspiring way about them, because once they succeed at something, because they're going to try a whole bunch of different things, but once they succeed at something, typically they'll have the laser beam focus in the narrow view of something to keep at it. And this is when Mars begins to mature into Scorpio, the fixed water sign. And this is Mars's state of maturity, where Mars becomes a little bit more mature to understand that, okay, certain things require a bit more strategy, because if I continue to allow my intentions to be seen and known all the time, then I'm not going to accomplish my goal. I'm not going to accomplish what I desire. I'm not going to be able to take, because if I tell everyone my intentions, they're going to be able to see, and then they're going to not allow me to take from them. Right? Mars begins to kind of become a little bit more strategic in the sign of Scorpio. And Mars begins to hide its motives and hide its intentions. And Mars is able to more so see long term and see the potential of gaining what it wants to take, because Mars is going to take. Mars is a very instinctual, primal force within us that is a burst of energy to go out and get what we want, to gain our desires. And Mars in Capricorn is when Mars is able to long term, this is when Mars truly matures. And Mars is able to see that, you know what, I'm responsible for my desires. I'm responsible for what I've taken. And I must mature, and it takes time for this. And this is why Capricorn is ruled by Father Time, Saturn. It takes time to mature, to understand the significance of your actions and how your intent impacts others long term, and to understand the value of all resources, people, places, and things. And this is why a lot of Capricorns are natural, what we call in the zodiac, users. Capricorn in the sign of Capricorn, it is the sign of the user. And we're all using each other in some way, but I always say when things go a little too far is when folks begin to misuse individuals, but I don't want to get off track here. So in the sign of Capricorn, Mars is able to understand what and what should not be the energy that should and shouldn't be used for long-term goals and plans. And Mars is able to mature to understand the responsibility of what you take, to understand the responsibility of your desires, to understand the responsibility of time, and how we only have so much energy. So much energy. So this is what Mars matures to understand over time. And a lot of Mars and Capricorn placements eventually come to this realization and are able to better manage time, resources, abilities, individuals. A lot of Mars and Capricorn people are leaders, managers, bosses, right? So now we have, so that is the three stages of the Martian development. A few things, not all, but a few things. So now I want to touch on Venus. Venus is our love. And then let me go back. So Mars is our intent, how we go after what we desire and what we want. The amount of energy that we have to put toward a desire, to transform a way of being in order to transform it to another way to gain what we desire. Our discipline, our ability to use discipline and energy well. How well we use and discipline our energy in order to accomplish a goal or an intention. That's Mars. So Venus is our ability to appreciate, to love, to exchange, compromise, to commit to, and to relate. And Venus rules the signs of Libra and Taurus. So with the second house, with Taurus, Venus is aware of the senses. Taurus is an earth fixed sign, and Taurus is the opposite sign of Scorpio. And it is through Taurus that Venus is able to see the value of things through the five senses and put value on things using practical common sense. And this practical common sense is how Venus is able to understand who and what she should compromise with, based on the value that Venus and Taurus places on themselves and others. And this is why a lot of Venus and Taurus signs will naturally place value and put time into accumulating things, nice things, paying attention to name brands, Venus and Tauruses pay attention to neighborhoods and what is the value of this property, and just people in the second. I don't want to get into that. Let me chill out. And it is through the sign of Taurus that Venus is able to accumulate material abundance and pleasures and good food. And people used to use food, but food is very important. And side note, if you during C19, I don't even want to say it because I want my channel to get a strike on it. But during that time, whoever lost their sense of taste and smell, and then if you even have a cold, you know that can drive you insane, not having your senses. We gain so much pleasure through our senses. Aromatherapy, that's why that's so important. Good taste in food. All of this, we're capable of enjoying these pleasures through the sign of Venus, through the planet Venus, through the energy of Venus. So once Venus sees her worth, this takes place with the Taurus influence. Venus acknowledges worth and value. Venus is then able to, through the sign of Libra, to go out and exchange this value gracefully, to compromise this exchange gracefully. And this is why a lot of Libras are extremely graceful with how they speak. A lot of Libras dress really well, as well as Tauruses. A lot of Libras attract, and Tauruses attract very easily. They it's like second nature for them to attract. Their gestures, how they carry themselves, how they speak. A lot of Libras speak very well, are very cultured, well-cultured, enjoy activities that embraces elegance about exchanging. So rather that be theater, rather that be social events, rather that be anything in society that other high, oh Lord, I don't want to use this word value, but the higher echelon of society, a Libra will be at the height of whatever. And that could be on a lower level too. Say it's a lower level of society. A Libra in that level will have the intuition or the natural proclivity to gravitate toward the height of that level, wherever that is. And that's the nature of Saturn and Venus. I'm not going to get too much into Saturn, but the Venusian energy in the Libras are able to take that value system that they've accumulated in the sign of Taurus and take it out into the world and exchange this value gracefully to the point that it's pleasant, that another would be attracted to whatever is in exchange. Venus gets exalted in Pisces. So the seventh house, which rules Libra, where Venus is making these exchanges, typically one-on-one, that's a Libra's stronger suit, but in business as well. But Libra's exchange much better with one-on-one connections. So in the sign of Pisces, where Venus is exalted, Venus is able to take this value from Taurus, take the experience in Libra with all of these one-on-one exchanges and being in these environments and these pleasant environments. And in the sign of Pisces, Venus is able to take this on a broader scale and a collective scale, relate to the collective unconscious. Venus is able to ascend beyond the five senses of Taurus and exchange this essence and compromise with this exchange one-on-one in Libra and broaden on a collective conscious way. And this is why a lot of Venus and Pisces signs are extremely artistic. And when they're able to get into certain arenas, they dominate art, like in terms of expression of their art, because they are able to relate on a collective level and fall in love with the expression of art and fall in love with everything. And this is why the sign of Pisces are extremely loving and compassionate and empathetic and connect easily. They connect just by nature. The Pisces connect, and it's through the sign of Pisces that Venus is able to connect collectively. When it comes to Venus and Mars in terms of exchange, this gets interesting because the Martian nature, which is to take, and the Venus nature, which is to give and take, creates a dynamic to where both energies, through their exchange together over time, assist each other in moving from one stage to the next in development and evolution. In the stage of Taurus and Scorpio, these are the opposites, right? A lot of Tauruses will have the value, and a lot of Tauruses will fixate on the value, and the Scorpio will come into the Taurus's life, and this is energetically speaking, okay? Don't look at it like, remember when I spoke on another video about how I use points of references? Like when I share information, like some of my information isn't to be taken at face value. It is to be looked at from a wider perspective. Astrologers will understand, but if you're new to astrology, be patient with what I'm saying. This exchange between Taurus, how Taurus expresses these sensual qualities, and how so a Taurus will just be naturally giving, and a Scorpio will meet a Taurus or this energy in general and desire to take something. So their natural intention is to take something, right? But it's through those experiences that the Taurus will develop to understand the Libran aspect of, wait, hold up. There has to be a give and take because I'm being misused. Remember the Capricorn use? I'm being misused, okay? So then it's through this other evolutionary level where the Libran energy quality of Venus will come out and begin to use language or words to finesse, like what we call in our day and age, finesse this Martian to be more considerate. Be more considerate. The Venusian energy will begin to use different gestures to soften the Martian energy. A lot of this is done through sex and subconsciously in ways we have no idea what be going on during sex. Through the Scorpio and Taurus exchange, the Venus and Martian exchange, the Piscean and Capricorn exchange. And I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So this communication style that takes place when Venus gets to the sign of Libra through experiences and begin to understand, oh no, I cannot just give this Martian and compromise on everything. I have to know what to compromise on, because this Martian is constantly taking or misusing me, right? So then the Martian begins to understand in the sign of Scorpio, you know what? I have to apply a little bit more strategy when it comes to taking, because in the sign of Aries, I'm just taking. I'm just letting my intentions seen. Well, the Venus, I'm not receiving the response. This Venusian energy is beginning to ask of me so I must become more strategic. Okay. So then this is when the Martian and the Venusian elevates into the sign of Capricorn. In the sign of Capricorn, the Martian eventually recognizes that, oh my God, you know what? I'm responsible for everything that I take and I misuse. I'm responsible. There are consequences, karma, to my desires, to what I take. There are consequences to what I take from the Venusian energy or energy, okay? But I'm using the Venusian and Martian energy because there are many other energies. And the Venusian energy begins to understand that, you know what? Life is more, there's more to life than what I give, what I receive, what I give one-on-one or for my own pleasures or fulfilling my own senses. There's more to life than my own pleasures. There's more to life than there's more love than the love that I can give myself. There is love to everything. I am connected and I should love everything. And this is what Venus evolves to understand through the sign of Pisces. And this is how Mars and Venus evolves over time. This is how the masculine and the feminine evolves from the lower level consciousness to the higher or universal level of consciousness of unconditional love and responsibility. And over time, this is the ultimate development, is universal love and understanding law, universal law, and responsibility. And it's a beautiful love story of human evolution and how love and hate evolves us. Because love and hate, Mars is the energy of hate and Venus is the energy of love. And how love and hate evolves us. So I just wanted to come on and post this video. I hope that you found value and that you take what I've shared here with you into your relationships, into your life. Ponder on it, think on it. Look at what signs you have Libra, what planets you have Libra and Scorpio, Aries, Capricorn, and the houses in which we'll go into in future videos of how it breaks down and how different planets play out. However, with these signs, these are the original rulers of these signs. And I will talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for watching, for tuning in. Bye.